people have different methods. You have a screwdriver like this long, right?
Yeah, it's about 18 inches.
And jabbing, what was it, the structural members
looking
down
for
in the
issues
basement.
with termites,
Yeah.
and with destroying insects, making sure things are solid.
Yeah, and sometimes you go right through.
Looks great, but is not.
So who are you?
Joe Donnelly from Donnelly Home Inspections out of Westchester. Been in the business for 19 years now. Kind of getting old, getting gray. 5,000 plus inspections. Seen a little bit of stuff.
A little bit of stuff. And Matt Lenza with the Matt Lenza Real Estate Team. Just want to showcase a little bit about why a home inspection is important. So how did you get in the business?
Well, I was in construction for 10, 15 years, and I bought a house. And I said, I could do that job. Thought I knew a lot more than I actually did. Took a couple classes, still thought I knew more than I actually did. And then I finally hooked on with a company where I got proper training. That was back in 2000. 6 months following another inspector around, working my way into that. I was with that company for 16 years. And 3 years ago, decided it's time for me to go on my own. My theory on the home inspection is not only inspecting to find out what's going on with the house, but it's more educating you on what's going on with the house. Something where you're looking at a house more from the, oh, I love this house, where I'm looking at the house is, this is what the house is. And it gets the personal out of it, I guess.
Yeah.
It gets your heart out of it, gets your brain into it. My theory also is you should be there, because I could tell you what's going on with the house by pictures and reports, but you're not seeing it up front. You don't. If you have a question about anything we're talking about, you can ask it at that point. I love questions.
So something I like that you do in your report, you basically have an estimate of what it's going to cost.
With the PA law, back in 2001, they said if you wanted to put cost estimates in there, you have to provide a source and also give a range of costs. So that's a way of helping the client out and helping the realtor out.
Of course.
So you're not chasing 15 different people trying to say, what's this going to cost? What's this going to cost? You know, is it exact? No, it's never going to be exact, but gives you that broad picture of what's going on with the house.
I do a quick glance of the home inspection report when it comes in. These are the main things I notice. I mean, these are definite things we want to take care of or address or get a credit for, which I love now. And these are some nice to haves, not really needed. So how do you kind of handle that?
Well, again, what's small to me is not small to somebody. A small piece of siding damage, significant? Usually no. But if you don't do anything, now we're getting water behind it. Going down to the basement, that's where all the good stuff really is. All your mechanical devices are typically down there. And that's where the biggest problem everyone knows, water penetration. So we got to figure out, are you getting water in there? We don't want that to happen. What do we need to do? And hopefully it's already been addressed. And then we kind of work our way up from that point. Structurally, obviously that can be a big thing. What is the issue? We have to figure out what's going on.
Now with that though, because I've been through it a few times, there's limitations of what you do too.
Sure.
You are not a structural engineer. So when it comes down to it, if you see something, you call that out on the report, that would not have a cost estimate. Correct. Most of the time. It would say, what would it say?
I'd have to recommend you bring in somebody who's in the field, structural engineer in that case. I don't want to give you that big gap in there on what that cost would be. So you want to bring someone professional who can figure out exactly what's going on with that. Well, my big question I always get is, who's going to fix this?
You don't say me?
My answer is, I don't know. I can't make anybody do anything. Which is then comes back to typically to the realtor, where they're going to be able to say, all right, we can ask for this, maybe not get that. Then the question is, how do I know it's done? I tell them I always recommend you have professionals do the work with receipts, see what's going on. If that's not something that's done, sometimes they'll have me come back out to take a look at it so I can give you my opinion whether it was done properly.
When it comes down to it, you write up everything. Now some of them are safety issues. Now 5,000 plus inspections, you know some of those things have to be addressed by the township. But in your sense, how do you go about that when you're helping out, a first-time home buyer?
Well, different townships do have different rules. Some of them are more stringent than others. But that's where I kind of bring up, it's called a use and occupancy inspection. where the township does their own little safety inspection, concrete work, things like that. Township's going to say this needs to be fixed before we'll allow you to sell the house. GFCI outlets. Everybody knows them, but they don't know what they are. They're the ones in the kitchens and bathrooms with the reset buttons on them. Any outlet within 6 feet of a water source outside should have that on there, just to protect you from being electrocuted when it's wet outside. All right, so that's their two big things.
So I've had many people, shop rates for a home inspection. Now, in your opinion, say a standard 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath house here in Media, 3,000 square feet. You know how long you're going to be there. There's a certain price.
On my pricing, something like that, you're $350 to $400
for the home inspection.
Then there's additional costs if you want to do a radon test or a wood destroying insect inspection.
Which we do need for different reasons, right?
Different mortgage companies require certain things. Radon, everyone hears it, but they don't really know what it is. Why do I have to do this? Yeah, that's the second leading cause of lung cancer. So not a bad idea to know what you're getting into.
It's a small cost to pay if you're really going with someone you trust.
Right.
Almost everything comes back with something written up. You've done even new construction and something's written up. So you can make that money back.
In the 5,000 plus I've done, there's been 3 houses I've written up that had nothing wrong with them.
So the report was, great house?
Yeah, looks good.
I'd buy it.
It's always a good idea to ask questions about the home inspector. How long have they been doing it? Are they a member of a national organization, which you're supposed to be in Pennsylvania? ASHI is the big one, which is
supposed to be? Meaning you don't have to be?
You are required to be, but I'm not going to say everyone is.
Really?
It's just a good question to ask. Are you a member of a national organization?
So no one told me about that until I started using it.
I think a very important part of a home inspection, one of the biggest costs, is roof. Always best to walk the roof. You're not only seeing everything up close, but you're also walking on the sheathing, making sure we don't have soft spots anywhere, which could suggest a leak either past or present, and see what's going on there. Also, I can check and see if there's how many layers of roof are on there, where if I'm taking a drone and flying it over top, I can't tell you anything, or a whole lot about it.
Now with that, we were talking before, you mentioned the clue report.
Right.
What is that?
Clue report is something your insurance company is going to do to see if there's been any kind of claims on the house. I think the last 7 years. You'll find out about that when you go for your homeowner's insurance, that they had hail damage. Did they fix it, or did they slide the money in their pocket?
Most of the time I do get that information ahead of time and can prep the home inspector, yourself included, with that knowledge. So if there was a leak in the basement and they covered it up, I guess you could look, even more carefully than you would normally around that area and see what was done.
Right.
And gives us ammunition too to ask, well, if it was done, where's the receipts? Who's the contractor who did it? It's just getting that information up front, because I'm sure there have been horror stories though, right?
Oh, sure. Things don't always get fixed the way they're supposed to be fixed. The DIY network is a terrible thing. You'll kind of know what's going on. In the basement usually is where you'll see all the real fun stuff.
I did want to add this in there as we're going to continue and do more of these. Not just for buyers, for sellers, for anybody looking for a home inspection. Definitely reach out. It can benefit everybody, even if you already have one. And anything you want to add to that?
How to get in touch with me? Is that
yes, that's probably a good one, right?
Yeah, 610-306-6883. Website, DonnellyHomeInspections.com with an S on the end. Everyone always forgets that part.
Donnelly Home Inspections.
Inspections, right. DONNELLY, HomeInspections.com.
So 2 N's, 2 L's.
Right. Glad to help anybody out, even if it's just a question. I always try to help as much as I can.
Well, again, thank you for your time. I hope this has been informative for everyone. We really want to stress the importance of a home inspection, the value it adds, and obviously with a good home inspector too, how much your 5,000 plus home inspections, and that knowledge base can really help somebody. Could be the difference between a house they buy and, I don't want to call it a money pit, or something that works out. Or at least if they're going to buy something that's pretty bad, they know about everything and they're willing to handle it.
Knowledge is king.
I like it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Pleasure.